Hi guys, welcome back to our channel. Welcome to MBA Unfiltered. My name is Akash Shinde. In this video, we are going to have a candid conversation with Parth Gupta, who has done with his TAPMI interview, and we'll ask him what kind of question that we asked to him during his interview experience, as well as extempore that has happened to TAPMI. Parth, welcome back to our channel. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing great. Parth, let us know about your profile so that people can relate their profile to your background.
Yeah. So I scored 89% in 10th, 87 in 12th, and I'm a commerce grad. So I did bachelor's of commerce with a specialization in finance, and I scored 67% in my graduation. And then in the work experience, I'm a fresher. I do not have work experience.
Okay. So Parth, how do you got to know about TAPMI?
So when I was going through MBA colleges and the top MBA colleges for TAPMI, I saw a list. So when you speak about TAPMI and tier 1, tier 2, tier 3 colleges, there is IMS B school zone for those of us who want to know about colleges. But at the same time, I got to know TAPMI from a friend, and then he told me that there is a list that so the banks that give loans to the students, those who are going for MBA, they prepare a list, and in that list they decide the colleges. So A, double A, triple A, and then B, C, B colleges. And if you're getting into a double A college or A college, that is the best call that you can get. So that is how I thought of applying for TAPMI. And I know that TAPMI is gonna take NMAT scores and CAT scores, but it's gonna also take the NMAT scores. So the syllabus when compared to CAT and MAT is quite easy. And I thought that NMAT is gonna be my strong scenario compared to CAT. And at the same time, TAPMI has extempore. It does not have just the interview, but it also has extempore. It also has a group discussion, and it also has a essay writing process. So all the three factors where you're based, all of the three factors you're judged out of, and that's how I thought of applying to TAPMI. That this is not just going to be my interview and CAT score. All of the three factors I'm going to be judged on, and that gives me higher chance of getting into a good B school. So yeah.
Okay. So Parth, since you thought of applying into TAPMI, let us know about the interview experience of TAPMI because I have been to TAPMI two times. I cracked TAPMI two times, but whenever I went for TAPMI, the interview won't last more than 15 minutes, and they will bombard you different set of questions. Right? It's not a generic interview where they'll start from "Tell me about yourself" or something like that. So, how was your experience when it comes to TAPMI?
Yeah, definitely. TAPMI interviews are more based, and then they are, from what I got to know from my mentors and my teachers, that they are more leadership based. They will test you on your leadership abilities, your analytical skills. They are not the regular interview where you will allowed to introduce yourself and then tell about your grad, and they will ask you subjects matter related to it. It's more of a leadership skill based. They will ask you real world life scenarios, and then they will test you on those scenarios. So first there was group discussion, which went well. We were given a topic, and then we were allowed to speak on the topic for 10 to 12 minutes. And it was definitely more of a fish market. And for those students who are going for a group discussion in the next MBA session, so my piece of advice would be that it is definitely going to be turning into fish market. It's not, you will definitely give yourself a chance to prove yourself to speak, but others will also speak at the same time. So you need to highlight your voice, you need to set apart from all the others that are sitting. And in the end, it's a fish market. But if you look at that, in fish market also, the fish are selling at the end. So there are sellers that are selling the fish. And if you look into that with that analogy, so that will set you apart. You need to set your voice high, you need to speak your points. They are listening to each and everything that everyone is saying. They are very focused in their work. So that is something that was there. Then there was essay writing session. In the essay writing session, it was essay was given to us, and there was a rough page that we can first skim in it. In the first 2 3 minutes we could write down rough points, and then we had to start writing the essay. No one reached past the second page in the essay writing, but yeah, as long as you write good in a good manner. At the same time, you speak the points with, you relate to them with the news that is happening with the current global trends. So that is something that will help you in essay writing session, and obviously practicing from previous. As far as the interview goes, I went to the interview room. There were two panelists, one male, one female, typically in their 40s, and they did belong to TAPMI, I guess. So in the starting, they asked me to introduce myself. I told them all about me, but it wasn't that they asked me about. So general question that is asked to me in most interviews is that why is your grad percentage low? Because I scored 67%. Why is it, did you not study, or did you study that you couldn't score? But they didn't ask me actually about my grad experience. They asked me directly about my freelancing experience. I told them that I worked with clients across multiple industries. They asked me, what verticals have you worked with? What is the amount that you made in the past 6 months? And what are you charging right now? How do you set a team? How do you manage your team? And then how do you compare yourself with others? How do you set apart in this world? So these were the questions that were asked to me. And at the same time, they were based on my leadership abilities. They were trying to ask me, they were trying to see whether I am fit for the manager position, whether the MBA will actually help me or not. They asked me that, do you specifically think that MBA will help you? Or if you know MBA will help you, how would you set apart from rest of your colleagues? And since you have a lot of experience where you're coming from, so what is the experience that you bring to the table? How will you expect your peers to connect around you? How will you expect your studies to manage along with freelancing? So yeah, these were the questions that were asked to me in the interview.
Okay. What was the extempore topic for you? How many people were there in the extempore topic? And how you perform in the extempore? How was your response towards the other candidates?
Yeah. So as I was saying that there will be around 15 to 18 people, and there will be definitely a lot of people for the interview sitting around you. But at the same time, there will be groups made, two, three groups made of 15 to 18 people each, and they will give you a topic. The topic for me was based on digital marketing. Basically, is not digital marketing actually. Digitalization is the. I think it was something around is the human ability to talk and chatting is what is going on, like is chatting more helpful, is talking more helpful, are we connecting more with others by chatting, by going online, or are we not connecting with others? We are reducing the physical interaction. And that was something. So basically, they will give you a topic, then they will explain you about what the topic contains, how should you write it, and then they will give you a rough page, as I was saying, and you need to write points. And you can choose not to, but at the same time, you can choose to write down small, small points, not actually the whole lines, but what will you write in the essay. So this was the essay writing. And regarding the GD experience, the group discussion, there were, as the same group was there, the group was not changed. First there was essay, then there was group discussion. In the group discussion, our topic was the same. So yeah, this is also something that is people are going for TAPMI. The topic that is given to you for group discussion and for essay writing will be the same. They will not change it. The group that you are with will be the same. And so when it started, there were two sites made that and you can choose either of these sites. They won't say you to choose a specific site. You have your own choice. And what will set you apart from that? So let's say most of the people are going for talking, that this is what sets us apart in the world. This is what reduces, this is what actually engages, can build real connections. At the same time, if you choose to go apart from the topic, you choose to go with chatting, or you choose to go with the topic that majority of the people are not going with, that is what sets you apart. So everyone in the interview, everyone in the group discussion will ask you the questions regarding that. So all the group discussion will be directly shifted to you, and that will give you bonus points, which is what I did. So most of the people were related to talking. I went that no, chatting is more helpful, chatting is more beneficial. And that is how all of the questions were crossed at me. They all began talking with me, all began proving their points to me. And the panelist that was sitting there, that was actually marking the scores, he noticed that I was giving most of the answers and who's the persons that are talking. So one thing I would like to suggest is that the panelists are noticing everything. So even if you speak, but then someone cross cuts you or someone speaks loudly, that is something the panelists note, and they will reduce your scores. So you should speak really politely. At the same time, you should allow to others to speak their points, because they will also judge you on your leadership skills. If you do not allow your peers to speak points in the interview, in the group discussion, they will actually reduce your scores. And this was something that was said to us before also. At the end of the group discussion, they said that conclude the GD, and the GD was not concluded in the way the panelists expected, because it was a fish market. Everyone was speaking, everyone was trying to be best in their point and everything. But the panelists will tell you to conclude, and if you conclude in such a way, the panelists expecting you to. So concluding in short means, just proving your point and why is that the best option for the other people to follow you. So if you do that, if you manage it with your peers, those who are taking your side, that will help you to gain the extra scores, and that will help you alongside the interview.
Got it. After how many days you got the result from TAPMI?
So I think the TAPMI interview for me was around in March, 7th or 10th March, and the result was expected to be announced on 10th April. But at the same time, the interviews lasted a lot, and then there were different cycles. So the result was around 15th or 20th April. So from the day you give interview, you can expect a call, or you can expect the result from 1 and 1.5 months later.
Yeah. Most of the your peers are also going through TAPMI interviews. So can you have you asked them regarding this interview experience? How they interview went off, how they prepared for it.
Yeah. So I asked them, I asked all my mentors that were teaching me. I took coaching from IMS. And then I asked my friends that how are you preparing for the interview? Like, is there any advice that you would like to give specifically for the TAPMI interview? Since that TAPMI interview is something that is different. Everywhere is B school has the same set of questions, almost same set of questions. Like 80% of the questions are same, and 20% is the surprise element. But at the same time, TAPMI interviews are not designed in such a way. So they told me to stay updated with the current trends, especially the financial news, and especially the news from the past 6 days or a week. So let's say you're going for an interview, and the interview it is at, let's say, afternoon. So they could also ask you questions. They do it rarely, but at the same time, they can also ask you questions that what was the news you read this morning, or how are you being updated right now. So that is something that you need to be updated on. You should read newspapers every day, and in the day of the interview also. At the same time, you should connect with your peers. And they asked me that how will you manage your freelancing experience, how will you connect with your peers in the campus itself. And so yeah, this was the something. And I would also like to suggest that you should be good with your, so let's say if you managed a team in the past, or you managed a client base in the past, they will definitely ask you questions regarding that. They are most interested in that. So you should be prepared in answering those questions.
Yeah. Was there any GK questions that were asked you during your TAPMI experience?
Yeah, so after my whole interview was done, and I thought that this is finished right now, but then they asked me, give me latest news that you have been reading. And then the questions were framed in such a way, so it was not more about the latest news. It was first they asked me that give me news in general, but at the same time, after when I gave them the news, then they asked me, since you belong to marketing, give me news regarding the latest marketing trends, regarding the latest startup companies in marketing, or what do you see, what current trend do you see, and what future trend do you see. After that, they asked me questions around financial news, and this is something which I would like to suggest to all the TAPMI going students, that please prepare financial news, because they will ask you. They asked all after the interview was done. I asked my peers that how was your interview, 90% of the students said that they were asked questions about the finance news. And if you do not know anything about what's the current financial implications, what's the current financial news across the India and the globe, so you will be, judged on that. So we should be very well prepared with especially the finance news.
Okay, that's quite interesting. Parth, what's your last piece of advice to the people who are aspiring for TAPMI in the upcoming years? What's your take on that?
So I would say to start preparing an interview from around 2-3 months in advance. And it's okay to prepare an interview after you give your CAT. You have it, I think, around 1.5 months specifically for the interviews. But at the same time, if you prepare interviews 2-3 months before CAT, you are way ahead of other people, because that's what, not a lot of people do. Read newspapers almost every day. Do not skip them. Stay updated with the current trends. And at the same time, if one can maintain a diary where they can write short points on the news. So what I did was I prepared a diary in which there were not specifically news headlines and everything. I just wrote short points. $500 million deal with India and Trump. Was the latest news between India and France that's happening? Nuclear sector, power sectors. What is happening in all of these sectors? So I prepared a diary, and I would like to suggest the same to all the students. And at the same time, be good with your leadership skills, be good with your managerial questions. They will ask you something regarding that. You should be also good with the college, grad subjects that you deal with. But at the same time, the questions will not be based specifically on it. They will be based on something that you have already done. If you have handled a team in the past, if you have handled an internship in the past, if you're a job working guy, so the questions would be more around it, and it would revolve around the same, not the graduation and 10th, 12th. So yeah.
Yes, Parth, I think you shared a lot of nuances to the upcoming aspirants. Lastly, thank you so much for joining with us, for connecting with us, and sharing the nuances. I'm grateful that you connected to my platform, and I hope this center will definitely reach to the masses, and it will definitely help the upcoming aspirants who are looking for TAPMI. Thank you so much again for connecting with us.
Thank you so much, Akash, for inviting me. I'm grateful to be here. Thank you.